exploits. Like she was saying that she got a yeast infection from being with 3 dudes in the same day. Like, who is that helping?
Felt it like he was burning?
No, we both was like, what's that smell? Like, ugh.
Green. And I made this for my friend that had gonorrhea. She told me she was coming out green. I said, okay, let me make you some lip gloss, make you feel better. And that's how we came up with the flavor.
Atlanta's health situation is getting wild right now, like seriously out of hand. And DL Hughley is straight up pointing fingers at Sexyy Red. People are even saying she's been turned into the face of this whole health scare in the city, which is a bold claim. Before anyone jumps on DL, listen to what he's actually saying, because things are getting messy. Sexy's out here naming lip gloss shades after infections, joking in songs about catching stuff like it's no big deal, and turning risky behavior into a whole image. That's what has folks raising eyebrows. At the same time, Atlanta's dealing with a real public health issue, not just gossip or online drama. So is DL right for calling her out, or is this way bigger than one artist? That's the real question. We're breaking it all down, including why this situation keeps getting worse instead of better, because there's more going on behind the scenes than people realize. Now check this out, 46.5. That's the rate of HIV cases in Fulton County, Atlanta, per 100,000. That number sounds random until you compare it, and then it hits different. The national average is way lower, and even Georgia's overall rate sits at 23.1 per 100,000. That means Fulton County is sitting at almost double the state average, which is serious and can't just be brushed off. Double. That's not a small jump, that's huge. We're talking about hundreds of new diagnoses every single year, and that's just in one county alone, which is already alarming. But it doesn't stop there, because the numbers get even heavier. Around 44% of new HIV cases nationwide are among Black men, almost half, which really puts things into perspective.
It's still #1 for HIV/AIDS cases, and it's been that way for at least a decade now.
Dr. Carlos Del Rio with Emory Center for AIDS Research says it won't get better until people realize the disease is now.
And when people talk about where this crisis is hitting hardest, Atlanta keeps coming up again and again. Now zoom out for a second, because this situation is way bigger than just one issue in the city. Georgia ranks near the top when it comes to infection rates across the entire country, sitting at #2, which is not a list you want to lead. On top of that, it also holds the 4th highest rate for gonorrhea, along with rising numbers in other serious health concerns. According to the CDC, Black Americans are dealing with rates over 7 times higher than white Americans, which shows just how uneven this situation really is. This isn't just headlines or social media talk. This is real public health crisis happening right now. So where does Sexyy Red land in all of this? That's where things start getting heated, because a lot of people feel like she's treating something serious like it's all laughs. Critics are saying she's built her whole image around behavior that some believe is adding to the problem in Atlanta right now. That's why her name keeps getting pulled into this conversation. Let's get into the details people keep bringing up. Back in August 2024, Sexyy launched her beauty brand, Northside Princess, and the shade names had everyone talking. Some of them were linked to infections, and people were shocked because those are real health issues if they're ignored. Folks online were like, pause and read that, because it caught them off guard. When asked, she told Complex she sees herself as a marketing genius, brushing off the backlash like it was no big deal. But the conversation didn't stop with the lip gloss. Her music also has people debating, especially when certain lyrics suggest risky choices without much concern. And it goes beyond songs too, because in interviews, she's been very open about her personal experiences. During the sit-down with Angela Yee on the Lip Service podcast, she even shared that she had dealt with chlamydia twice, which added even more attention to the situation. And the way she told that story had people side-eyeing hard, because it came off super casual, like it wasn't a big deal at all. There was no real moment where she talked about being more careful or taking steps to protect herself, and that's what got people talking even more. What she shared, this all went down after she and her partner split because of cheating. They both went their separate ways for a bit, then later got back together, linked up again, and that's when she realized something wasn't right.
Like the craziest thing I ever said in the song is a lyric I said, this nigga burn me pussy smoking like a seed.
In the end, they both found out they were dealing with the same infection, And even now, she says they still don't know who passed it to who, which just adds to the confusion around the whole situation. Now, to be clear, situations like this can happen to anyone, and it's not about shaming people. But the way the story was told, with laughs and no real takeaway, is what made people uncomfortable, like it was just another regular moment instead of something serious. And if that wasn't already raising eyebrows, things got even louder online. Back in August 2023, Sexyy Red posted some selfies on X with a caption that instantly had people reacting. The post read, "I heard you want a stud, I got the STD, all I need is you." And the internet instantly went off. People in the comments were not holding back at all, saying that's not something to brag about. One person wrote, "That's not a bar to be proud of," while another straight up said, "Wow, disturbing. I grew up seeing that as something serious to avoid." Then someone else jumped in saying, "Mainstream media pushing this as attractive just shows how things are going downhill," and the debate just kept getting louder. That moment is what brings everything right back to DL Hughley and his take on the situation. He's not claiming that Sexyy Red caused the entire health crisis, but people are asking, is she adding to it? Is she making risky behavior look appealing and normal? That's the real conversation happening here. From DL's perspective, it didn't come off like he was trying to shame her. It sounded more like frustration mixed with concern. His message felt deeper than just calling someone out. It was more like asking bigger questions about culture and influence. He basically boiled it down to this: what are people promoting right now? And what kind of message is being sent to younger audiences watching all of this play out?
AIDS, do y'all know, first of all, it's been around forever, but whoa, the singles out there, be extra careful. Be extra careful because apparently in Atlanta, just in 2025 alone, this is August, it's been a reported 19,500 new cases. Wow, be careful.
Then DL took it a step further and pointed out other public figures who've openly talked about dealing with infections, saying it reflects a bigger issue. He made it clear that to him, it's a sad situation when this kind of thing starts to feel normal in the spotlight, like it's just everyday conversation. That's what really stood out in his comments. So his critique wasn't just aimed at Sexyy Red alone. It was more about what she represents in the bigger picture. He was really talking about how the culture has shifted, especially in rap and hip-hop. It used to focus more on real-life struggles and overcoming tough situations, and now, in his view, it's leaning into something very different.
And to be fair, nobody's saying every artist has to be serious all the time. Music can still be fun and creative. But DL was drawing a line between playful lyrics and turning serious health topics into branding or punchlines. What hit the hardest is that he admitted he's not even shocked anymore, which says a lot about how common this has started to feel. He's really questioning how a community can end up celebrating the same things that are clearly causing harm, and that confusion hits hard. And honestly, that's where a lot of people pause, because DL is tapping into something deeper that doesn't always get said out loud. Music isn't just background noise. It shapes how people think, how they move, and what starts to feel normal, especially for younger listeners. So when a whole generation keeps hearing messages that make risky health situations sound casual and then sees artists turning serious conditions into jokes or products, what kind of message does that send? That's the concern right there. And if you're wondering what the impact looks like, people are already pointing to cities like Atlanta as an example of how serious things can get when awareness doesn't match the behavior. But this is where the conversation gets even deeper, because there's a bigger question sitting in the background that a lot of people avoid. Why is this kind of image being pushed so heavily? Why do certain artists get major promotion while others trying to spread more positive or uplifting messages struggle to get noticed? That's where Ice Cube's old warning comes back into the spotlight.
And it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. And they had a top 10 list, and the number 10 on the list was like Athens, Georgia, with reported 500 cases. And then Lawrenceville, Georgia, at number 5, so in the middle, it was 2,000 cases. So the heaviest, 19,500, in the middle, 2,000, and the low end, 500. Be careful. And I know this is like a hookup culture and stay in time, Y'all.
He once said it feels suspicious that the same powers behind major labels also benefit from negative cycles, adding that a lot of popular records seem designed to push people toward destructive choices, and that idea still has people debating today. And Ice Cube isn't the only one who's ever raised eyebrows about this. Back in 2012, a mysterious letter started circulating online called The Secret Meeting that changed rap music and impacted a generation, and it had people talking heavy. The person behind it claimed they were a high-level decision maker at a major record label, and what they described sounded straight out of a movie. According to that letter, in 1991, they were invited to a private meeting with around 25 to 30 industry insiders, and the setting itself felt intense. They even claimed there were armed security figures in the room, which made everything feel even more serious. The message they say they received was clear and direct. Record labels had reportedly invested big money into the growing private prison industry, and the goal was to make sure those systems stayed busy. The way they allegedly planned to do that was by pushing a specific image through music, especially a style that was just starting to gain traction at the time. The idea was to highlight and glorify lifestyles that could lead people down difficult paths, shaping culture through what gets promoted the most. And when people started digging into this topic, they noticed there are real financial ties in certain areas, which only added more fuel to the debate. Even Scarface from the Ghetto Boys spoke on this kind of issue, saying labels tend to push the most extreme or controversial artists for a reason. And that comment alone had people looking at the industry in a whole new way.
Green. Too bad. Oh, and I made this for my friend that had gotten red. She told me she was coming out green. I said, okay, let me make you some lip gloss, make you feel better. And that's how we came up with the flavor down our.
His exact words hit hard. If you continue to force people to eat they're gonna think tastes good. They're gonna love so when a steak comes, they're not gonna like it. They won't even taste it. That message alone says a lot about how influence really works. Now take that same idea and apply it here. Swap out for controversial trends like turning serious health topics into products, and you start to see the exact situation people are calling out right now. It paints a clear picture of how repeated messaging can shift what feels normal over time. And this is where everything starts to connect in a bigger way. Because it's not just about one artist, one post, or one interview moment. It's about the pattern people keep noticing again and again. When the same type of messaging keeps getting pushed to the top, it slowly shapes what people think is normal, what feels acceptable, and even what gets praised. At the same time, there are voices out there trying to promote awareness, responsibility, and healthier choices, but they don't always get the same spotlight or backing. That imbalance is what has critics speaking up, saying the system rewards shock value more than substance, and that creates a cycle that's hard to break. And here's the part that really makes people stop and think. If influence is this powerful, then what responsibility comes with it?
So you felt it like you was burning? No, it'd be a smell.
From chlamydia?
Yeah. And I went to the doctor and they were like, cause this what happened. Me and my was together and we broke up cause he was cheating on me. So then we broke up. Then I went and did me, did him, and then we met each other, came back together.
Something wasn't right.
We both was like, what's the is that smell?
Because whether it's music, branding, or social media, the impact goes way beyond entertainment. That's why this conversation keeps growing, because people are starting to question not just what's being promoted, but why it's being pushed so heavily in the first place. And that why is what keeps this whole conversation alive, because once you start questioning it, more layers keep showing up. Some people argue it's all just business, labels pushing whatever grabs attention and makes the most money, no matter the message. And when controversy sells fast, it's easy to see why certain images and lyrics get amplified over everything else. But others aren't buying that simple explanation. They're saying there's a deeper impact that gets ignored. Because when risky behavior is constantly framed as funny, casual, or even attractive, it can blur the line between entertainment and real-life consequences. That's when things stop being just music talk and start turning into real-world concerns. And this is where Atlanta circles back into the spotlight again. The numbers, the conversations, the reactions, it all connects in a way that's hard to ignore. People are looking at what's happening and asking if culture and influence are moving in the wrong direction, or if this is just the reality of how things evolve over time.
Either way, one thing is clear. This isn't a quiet issue anymore. The debate is loud, the opinions are split, and the spotlight isn't leaving anytime soon.
What do you think about Sexyy?
I don't know her. I mean, I just, I don't know her music. I don't.
Have you seen some of her videos? Or you heard some of her lyrics?
Yes.
What do you think about those lyrics?
They don't score. I mean, to me, they don't land. It's not something I think about or resonates.
So you would not advise young ladies to listen to those lyrics?
He is a hit. So I think we're a confused, crazy-ass society.
Okay.
And so I just don't.
Now here's another angle people are starting to bring into the conversation, and it shifts the focus a bit. Some are saying this isn't just about artists or record labels, it's also about the audience and what gets supported the most. Because at the end of the day, streams, likes, and shares all play a role in deciding what rises to the top.
If certain messages keep going viral, the industry is going to keep feeding that demand. Simple as that. That creates a loop where the wildest or most shocking content gets the most attention, while more balanced or informative voices struggle to compete in the same space. And that imbalance can quietly shape culture over time without people even realizing it. At the same time, there's a growing push for more awareness and education, especially around health and responsibility. More people are starting to speak up, calling for better messaging and real conversations instead of turning serious topics into punchlines. That shift might be slower, but it's definitely building momentum. So now the question isn't just about who's responsible, it's about what direction things go from here, because the influence is real, and the outcome depends on what people choose to support next. And that direction is where things could either shift or stay stuck, because culture doesn't change overnight. It moves based on what people keep accepting and promoting.
I do think it's interesting that oftentimes expression, self-expression or owning your femininity is connected to or appear to be connected to things. I'm like, wow, I heard somebody, I'm not gonna say her name, I felt so bad because she talked about her sexual exploits.
Right now, there's a clear split between those who see this as harmless entertainment and those who see real consequences building up behind the scenes. Some voices in the community are starting to push for more accountability, not in a cancel type way, but in a be aware of your impact kind of way. Because when you have a massive platform, every message, every lyric, every product can influence how people think and act, whether that's the intention or not. At the same time, others argue that personal responsibility still matters the most, saying no artist should be blamed for individual choices. And that adds another layer to the debate, because now it's not just about influence, it's about where the line gets drawn between entertainment and real-life decisions. So now everything is colliding. Influence, responsibility, culture, and real-world outcomes, and people are watching closely to see what shifts next, because one thing is certain, the conversation isn't slowing down anytime soon. And as this keeps unfolding, more people are starting to look at solutions instead of just pointing fingers, because calling things out is one thing, but actually changing the direction takes a different level of effort. Some are pushing for better education around health, more open conversations, and making awareness just as visible as the entertainment side. There's also talk about artists using their platforms in a more balanced way, still being creative and bold, but not turning serious real-life issues into something that feels trivial. That doesn't mean everything has to be serious all the time, but it does mean being mindful of how certain messages land, especially with younger audiences watching closely.
On the labels, on the prisons, literally the same people who own the labels on private prisons. The records that come out are really geared to push people towards their prison industry.
They didn't make you write those lyrics.
Not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs.
At the same time, community leaders and influencers are stepping in, trying to bridge that gap between culture and responsibility. They're calling for real dialogue, not just online debates, but actual efforts to inform and support people in making smarter choices.
Because at this point, it's bigger than music, bigger than one city, and bigger than one person. It's about what gets normalized moving forward, and whether the next wave of influence builds people up or keeps pushing risky ideas into the spotlight. And now everything comes down to what happens next, because this moment feels like a turning point. The spotlight is already on the issue. The debates are everywhere, and people are paying closer attention than before. That kind of awareness can either fade out fast or turn into real change depending on what people choose to do with it. Some are hoping this pushes more artists to think twice about the messages they put out, especially when it comes to serious health topics. Others are looking at the industry itself, wondering if there will ever be a shift in what gets promoted and prioritized at the highest level. At the same time, fans hold more power than they realize because what they support directly shapes what trends next. If the demand starts leaning toward more awareness and responsibility, the content will eventually follow, but that shift has to be intentional. So now everything is lined up for a potential shift. The awareness is there, the conversations are happening, and the spotlight ain't going anywhere. The only thing left is to see whether the next wave of influence takes things in a better direction or keeps repeating the same patterns that got everyone talking in the first place. Right here is where the pressure really starts to build, because once people are aware, it's hard to go back to ignoring it. The spotlight doesn't just disappear, it sticks around, and it forces more conversations that people weren't having before. That's when real change either starts or gets pushed aside again.
Some are now watching closely to see if public figures adjust how they move, not by losing their personality, but by being more aware of the impact behind what they promote. Because once a message reaches millions, it's no longer just personal expression, it becomes influence on a massive scale. At the same time, the audience is evolving too, asking more questions, calling things out faster, and not just accepting everything at face value. That shift alone can start to change what trends and what fades out, because attention is power in this space. So now everything is at a crossroads. The voices are louder, the awareness is higher, and the reactions are stronger than ever. The only thing left to see is whether this moment turns into real progress or just another cycle that people talk about today and forget tomorrow. And now it all comes down to consistency, because one viral moment or one big debate isn't enough to shift a whole culture.
Like she was saying that she got a yeast infection from being with 3 dudes in the same day. Like, who is that helping? I don't know why you felt necessary to self-immolate in front of people. I just didn't get it. It's like all them people who thought Freaking was cool till the documentary came out. Now they're like, oh, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Real change only happens when the conversation keeps going, when people stay aware, and when actions actually start matching the concerns being raised. What's interesting is how fast things can flip once the energy changes. The same platforms that push certain trends can just as quickly highlight better messages if that's what people start engaging with more. That's why this moment feels bigger than it looks, because it has the potential to redirect what gets attention moving forward. At the same time, there's still a lot of noise, a lot of mixed messages, and a lot of pressure pulling things in different directions. Some will continue chasing shock value, while others try to bring more balance and awareness into the space. That push and pull is what's shaping everything in real time. So as this keeps unfolding, one thing stands out more than ever. What people choose to support next will decide where this goes, because influence doesn't just come from the top, it builds from the ground up, and that means the outcome is still being written right now. And here's the main point that really sticks with people. You don't have to believe in some secret meeting to see that something feels off right now. When you look at what keeps getting pushed to the top, it often leans toward chaos, controversy, and risky behavior, and that raises real questions. Because when communities get caught up in that cycle, things can start to break down, while someone, somewhere, is still benefiting from it. So when you see moments like Sexyy Red promoting products tied to serious health topics while Atlanta is dealing with a real situation, it makes you stop and think. Is she actually the cause of the problem, or just a reflection of something much bigger happening behind the scenes? That's the question people can't seem to agree on. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts and takes in the comments, because this conversation is far from over. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join in on the discussion. Stay locked in for the next one.